Our MC was resurrected to be the ultimate weapon of mass destruction. He possesses enough raw demonic power to turn elite royal guards into modern art with a single snap. He literally explodes their heads without blinking. He can flood the world with dark magic, making fully grown soldiers scream for mercy. He catches legendary holy weapons barehanded, smirks right through the divine light, and shatters them like cheap glass. He can nuke a fortress without trying. For over 60 millennia, the armies of hell fought an endless, brutal cycle against humanity, and they were tired of losing, so they hid their king's broken soul and spent decades incubating the perfect vessel, breeding the 666 Demon King to bring the apocalypse. But when our boy finally hatched, he left a sticky note on his throne and ran away, leaving his entire evil destiny behind. Because our MC, Deus, doesn't want to conquer the earth. He is tired of the edgy villain lifestyle. He just wants to take a permanent, lazy vacation. But before we dive into his master plan, do me a massive favor and hit subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs and 99% of you haven't clicked it. Super fast. Thank you. Now let's get back to our boy. To start his new slacker life, he strolls right up to the capital's strongest castle. The local guards point their weapons at him. Fatal mistake. Surrounded by heavily armed knights, he asks if they are actually strong. The commander takes that as a personal insult. But when the captain charges in, Deus makes his blood explode from the inside out. He doesn't even flinch. The remaining soldiers freeze in sheer terror. The castle doors are blown wide open. The surviving knights are crushed by his aura. The kingdom deploys their ultimate holy warrior, armed with divine light meant to eradicate demons. It's a massive relic that has stood for centuries. The knight unleashes his full power, but Deus just corrupts the holy energy and glares at the king. The king of Verde is sweating through his robes. He sits on his throne, completely paralyzed. He completely loses his mind. He accuses our boy of trying to steal his precious daughter. But Deus doesn't care about the princess. He vaporizes the throne room anyway. He stands in the burning wreckage, disappointed that human defenses are this boring. He looms over the broken ruler. The king offers him money and titles to spare his life. Deus rejects it all. That's when Princess April crawls out of the rubble. She is traumatized and gasping for air, begging to be his servant just to survive. But suddenly, a massive demonic shadow blots out the sun. A terrifying entity swoops down, gets right in her face, and threatens to pluck her eyes out because the Demon King's loyal valet has arrived. Enter Alex, a high-tier nightmare demon and Deus's personal babysitter. This guy spent 80 years raising our boy in a dark cocoon, and he refuses to let his master retire. He tracked him all the way to the human world. He claps his hands, hallucinating a grand scheme, but Deus shuts him down immediately. He admits there is no grand evil plan. He just wanted to see what being human was like. He reminds Alex that the old era is dead. He demands peace and quiet. He tells his servant to go away, but the guy is sworn to follow him no matter what. Deus realizes he can't shake his valet, and worse, Alex is trying to push the princess onto him, to force him to start his evil legacy right now. Deus agrees to let Alex stay, but on one condition. Alex asks what his game is. Deus declares he is completely done fighting. He refuses to do the heavy lifting. He's gonna find a random decoy to take the fall. He might look like a casual teenager, but beneath that lazy smile lies a monster capable of wiping out continents. He could rule the planet right now, but he'd rather make a fake hero do all the work. The loyal valet is completely baffled. Deus lands on the cracked stone. He complains that having a destiny sounds exhausting. To prove his point, the kid unleashes a massive blast of dark magic. A colossal red laser shoots straight into the heavens. The explosion tears the clouds apart. Alex shields his face from the sheer force. The demon stares up in absolute awe. He realizes this kid's potential is limitless, but Deus just grins. He reveals his true strategy. He points at himself and declares he will become a companion. Alex is speechless. Deus explains they will find a random, weak human. They will use him as a decoy. The Demon King laughs at his own genius plan. Let the human take the hits and he will take the luxury. Alex panics. He points at the trembling Princess April. Deus says she is completely useless to him. He turns his back on the ruins, leaving the traumatized royalty in the dirt. They set off to find their new meat shield. The journey begins on a basic wooden horse cart. Deus kicks back in the hay. Title drop. Alex drives the horses and complains the entire time. The high-tier nightmare demon hates traveling like a peasant. Deus stretches his arms. He tells his babysitter to stop whining. A high-profile entry would ruin the entire slacker aesthetic. To pass the time, Alex breaks down the human power system. Deus asks how warrior society works. The valet explains there are distinct levels of power. At the absolute top sit the D-class dragon slayers, warriors who possess enough raw strength to kill mythical beasts. Below them are the G-class, giant killers, then the L-class, warriors who execute corrupted liches. The ranks go all the way down the alphabet, and at the very bottom sits F-class, the defects. Deus finds the ranking system brutal. The higher classes get noble sponsorships and unlimited wealth. The defects get treated like a rotten apple covered in ants. But Alex notes the most crucial factor is the holy blood. blood, the descendants of the original heroes who fought the First War. The closer a human is to that pure bloodline, the stronger they become. The absolute pureblood is destined to face the Demon King. Deus finds the whole destiny thing ridiculous. Alex insists the bloodline oath is a serious cosmic rule. He warns that the Demon King and the hero are bound to fight. The slacker lays back in the hay. He points out that this cycle has caused trouble for 60 millennia. He just wants a simple, easy life. A bright blue object catches his eye. A simple butterfly flutters past his face. The ultimate apex predator is fascinated by a bug. A sudden gust sweeps across the grassy field. The butterfly escapes his grasp. Alex explains the concept of wind. Deus tilts his head back. He blocks the blinding light with his hand. The valet informs him it is the sun. Deus breathes in the fresh air. He takes in the sweet scent of spring. He asks Alex about the history of the world. The valet has been around since the very first demonic war. Deus smiles. He admits he loves it here. Alex glances back in sheer surprise. Previous kings never bothered to enjoy the scenery. They always rushed into a destined death match and got slaughtered. Deus is thrilled he ran away. He declares they do not even need a demon king. Alex stares in stunned silence. The valet gives up and turns back to the road. Deus tells him to wake him when they arrive. The cart rolls down the scenic coastal path. They reach a peaceful, remote town, Zorik's village. Deus wakes up and takes a look. The town square is bustling with ordinary citizens. Deus asks about the local warriors. Alex scans the crowd and calls them all cowards. But the peace is already broken. A frantic villager shares some terrifying news. A rogue dragon just burned down nearby Trayer Castle. Deus reminds his babysitter that dragons are supposed to be neutral. Alex assumes something went wrong during his 80-year absence. They pull up to the largest inn in the area. Alex demands the finest suite available. The fat owner assumes they are broke peasants. Then the valet drops a massive chest of looted royal treasure. The owner loses his mind and screams for his staff. A young bellboy trips and crashes onto the floor. The kid scrambles up and bows in a panic. Enter Zeke Van Holovich. Zeke warns everyone about the dragon attacks. He tries to rush them upstairs to safety. He shows off the luxury suite with a massive fake smile. He sets the heavy treasure chest down. Alex gets right in his face. The demon sniffs out his lineage. Alex deduces the kid is on the lowest end of the holy blood. Deus steps forward to ask about his purity. Zeke drops the fake smile and admits the truth. He is an F-class defect. Before anyone can react, a massive explosion rocks the building. The trio gets thrown to the floor. Flames consume the inn. The dragon has arrived. Zeke screams for them to run. Deus points at the beast and mocks the neutrality rule. Zeke begs them to seek shelter underground. Deus ignores the warning. He stares at the defect. He offers to become the boy's sponsor. He promises to change the kid's entire destiny. Alex thinks this is a terrible idea. The valet considers defects a complete waste of time. But Zeke remembers his starving younger siblings. He needs this chance. A massive claw smashes into the ground. Zeke bows his head before the stranger. He promises to pledge his soul for this opportunity. Deus smiles. He has his decoy. Zeke screams his loyalty over the roaring flames. Deus reaches out with a glowing dark hand. A purple magical contract appears in thin air. The terms are completely one-sided and absolute. Deus tells him to state his name to seal the deal. Zeke gulps hard. He shouts his full name and signs his life away. Deus flashes a wicked grin. He points out the door. It is time for the decoy to face the dragon. Alex argues that a normal human will die instantly. Deus raises a finger. He has a brilliant, stupid idea. He instructs Alex to go fight the beast in secret and drop the weakened monster right in front of the kid. Alex looks exhausted. The valet points out that an F-class slaying a dragon will draw too much attention. Deus ignores logic and grabs the kid. He rips off the boy's uniform. He snatches a large metal cooking pot. He burns eye holes straight through the steel. He shoves the hot metal onto Zeke's head. Behold the masked warrior. A kid in underwear, a red cape, and a pot helmet. Deus calls it the perfect disguise. Alex rolls his eyes and prepares for battle. The valet leaps into the burning sky. Deus shoves his new hero toward the danger. Zeke stares at the apocalyptic beast. He looks back at his sponsor in pure panic. Deus kicks him into the war zone. He hands the boy a broken wooden broom handle to use as Excalibur. The master orders him to stand his ground until the dragon drops. Zeke grips the stick. He is terrified, but a strange dark energy rushes into his hands. The demonic contract gives him a massive surge of ambition. It awakens something deep in his veins. The dormant blood of a hero stirs for the first time. Deus watches his pet march forward. Zeke feels a surge of fake courage. He charges straight into the inferno. The villagers scramble to escape the flames. A massive beast dives toward the town square. The dragon snarls and prepares to eradicate them, but a shadow intercepts it mid-air. Fire fills the sky. Purple aura collides with the beast. Alex stands atop the church cross. His eyes glow with raw demonic intent. The dragon roars in defiance. Alex summons the demon of 100 hands. He lunges forward. The valet collides with the massive predator. Countless shadow arms stretch out. They whip across the dragon's scales. The dark magic slithers around around its core. Alex squeezes tight. He demands the beast obey his commands. He asks why it broke the peace treaty. Purple corruption spreads across the creature's body. The beast speaks in a twisted, ancient dialect. Alex realizes this creature is corrupted. The monster bursts free from the shadows. Down on the ground, Zeke stands firm in the ash. He stares down the fiery apocalypse. The hiding villagers spot the bizarre figure. They wonder if this weirdo is going to fight the beast alone. They question why their savior is dressed like a massive pervert. They cheer for him anyway. Zeke waves his broomstick. He refuses to let this golden opportunity slip away. He focuses on the glory and riches waiting for him. The dragon dive bombs the village. It opens its jaws to consume everything. Alex intercepts the strike again. The valet realizes he cannot control this corrupted beast. He unleashes his full barrage of shadow hands. The suffocating binds wrap around the monster. The dragon roars in pain. Alex prepares a piercing strike meant to rip out its heart. The beast shakes off the attack. The valet glares in frustration. He binds the creature again. The dragon warns him to prepare himself. It claims a prophecy is being fulfilled. Alex strikes it across the face. He grabs the beast by the skull. The corruption spreads faster. From the ground, Deus complains about the delay. The slacker picks his nose and waits for his minion to finish the job. Alex beats the monster mercilessly. He tightens his grip on the corrupted flesh. The dragon fights back with a fury. It breathes a point-blank stream of fire. The blast knocks Alex backward. The valet plummets toward the village. Deus yells at the defect to get ready. He tells Zeke to twirl his weapon. The dragon descends from the clouds. A massive inferno heading straight for the pothead hero. Zeke watches the fire approach. His fake courage completely vanishes. He drops his weapon and admits he does not want to die. Deus grins and readies a spell behind him. He promises to protect his new toy. Up above, Alex regains his balance. The valet charges up a massive dark blast. Zeke grips his stick, trying to find his resolve. Alex unleashes 1,000 shadow whips. They shred the dragon's corrupted armor. The beast screams in agony. Alex pushes it toward the ground. The shadow magic crushes the monster into the dirt, but the corruption pulses with a strange light. It fires a beam straight at the valet. The blast sends Alex flying across the town. The demon technique falters. The shadow whips crack and break. The dragon shakes off the binds. Alex tries to grab it one last time. The beast rips free from his grasp. It locks its sights on the tiny human below. Deus smiles. The target is exactly where he wants it. Alex screams as the beast dives. The dragon ignores him and plunges downward. Zeke watches the apocalypse swoop down on him. He grips his broom handle tight. The monster approaches at breakneck speed. Deus tells his valet to stop interfering. The master prepares to end this himself. Alex looks down in shock. The valet fires a dark beam anyway. The dragon absorbs it and keeps charging. Zeke refuses to run. He locks his eyes on the target. He plans to end it with one strike. He pulls the stick back into a familiar stance. A secret sword technique passed down through his F-class bloodline. He remembers the promise he made to his father, to be a great warrior who defends humanity from the Demon King. A deep memory surfaces in the boy's mind. His dying father, coughing up blood, telling him to train hard. A promise made by a poor defect family holding onto an impossible dream. Back in reality, Zeke grinds his teeth against the sheer apocalyptic heat of the diving dragon. He swings his broken broomstick right as Deus charges a massive demonic spell directly behind his back. The defect screams, putting every ounce of his soul into one blind slash. The sky shatters. A colossal red beam erupts from the earth, bypassing the boy entirely. Consumes the corrupted dragon mid-dive. The mythical beast is crushed under the sheer gravity of the Demon King's magic. Crashes into the ruined village, lifeless. Zeke cracks one eye open from behind the metal cooking pot. He stares at his hands, bewildered that he is not a pile of ash. The dust begins to settle over the town square. The villagers peek out from their hiding spots, staring at the crater. They realize the beast is dead, and standing right in front of the colossal corpse is a skinny kid in white underwear and a red cape. He looks ridiculous, but right now he is a living legend. Deus coughs into his hand, trying to get his new toy's attention. He whispers for the boy to get out of sight before anyone recognizes his face. Zeke snaps out of his shock. He bolts down the ruined street to find some clothes. Up on a burning cross, Alex strikes a final boss pose. The valet looks down at the destruction with sheer disdain. He spots his master in the wreckage below. The high-tier demon watches the corrupted beast burn. The human world has no idea what just moved into the neighborhood. The next morning, Deus stretches his arms wide, welcoming his new slacker lifestyle. Alex plays the perfect butler, bringing him a fresh cup of coffee in bed. The valet explains this is how humans start their day. But the peace shatters. A familiar face bursts through the bedroom door. It is Zeke, covered in soot and beaming with energy. He announces the village is turning the masked warrior into a local hero. Deus notices the kid looks like he just crawled out of a chimney. Zeke laughs. He picked up a shift with the disaster cleanup crew for day wages. The Demon King takes a sip. He loves a hard worker who does not ask questions. The coffee hits the spot. He steps out onto the balcony, basking in the warm morning sun. Below him, the town is a disaster zone. People are crying over crushed houses while hauling debris. Everyone pitches in to clear the massive stone blocks left by yesterday's fight, including Zeke, who moves boulders twice his size. The kid carries a heavy wooden basket of rocks on his back with a massive grin. Deus watches him from the roof. The master and valet observe their new asset working himself to the bone. Alex explains that the boy's family is dirt poor. Raising a warrior costs gold they never had. So Zeke took every odd job in the village to keep his younger siblings fed. Gravedigger, woodcutter, you name it. He even worked in the seedy taverns just to survive. Deus smiles. This level of desperate dedication makes Zeke the ultimate disposable shield. He announces they will establish their base of operations right here. The ruined coastal town of Zorix is the perfect spot to lay low. He declares the story of his lazy retirement officially begins today. Alex looks surprised by the sudden decision. Deus runs out into a flower field, hyped for the future. He tells Alex it is time to harvest the dragon skin and sell it to the top 1%. But Alex breaks the bad news. The local warriors guild already confiscated the corpse yesterday. Deus freezes. The ultimate apex predator just got robbed by local bureaucrats. Alex trembles as his master's aura darkens. Deus snaps. He announces he is going to obliterate the warriors guild and take his loot back. Alex panics. The valet grabs his master by the collar. He explains the guild is the central hub for humanity's strongest fighters. Attacking it would trigger an all-out global war. He reminds Deus that the whole point of the charade was to avoid fighting. The valet suggests a much smarter angle. They need to register Zeke as an official warrior inside the system. By using the human rules, they get the gold, the glory, and none of the divine retribution. Deus rubs his chin. He realizes this legal scam might actually save demonkind from a massive war. He points down the road and tells Alex to get the cart ready. The Demon King plans to rob the neighboring kingdom blind using their own bureaucracy. They hit the road, leaving the ruined town behind. Alex drives the horses. He screams at his master, demanding they go back to the underworld. He insists that the Demon King must eventually attack the human world. It is cosmic law. Deus kicks his feet up in the hay and refuses. Alex explains the cycle. A Demon King attacks, humanity fights back, everyone dies. It has happened 665 times. Deus finds the whole script exhausting. He suggests treating this generation as a learning experience. Alex groans. He tells the boy to at least pick a human woman and produce a 666th heir for the throne. The valet refuses to return to hell until the bloodline is secured. Deus smirks. He tells Alex to get comfortable because they are never going back. Alex ignores him and promises to find the perfect bride. The cart rolls through the peaceful, sunny plains. Alex ponders the logistics. He genuinely wants to know if human-demon hybrids are even biologically possible. He mentions Princess April as a prime candidate. Deus blushes. Alex catches the reaction. Deus envisions a terrifying scenario. A swarm of weird, purple hybrid babies swarming him. The thought alone makes his blood run cold. The valet adjusts his hat and gives an unprompted biology lesson. He starts detailing the human reproductive cycle with uncomfortable, graphic precision. Deus covers his ears, begging his servant to stop the anatomy lecture. But Alex drops a bombshell. He claims demonic essence works differently. He states that the demon seed can transfer through basic sexual relations or even a deep kiss. Deus freezes in sheer horror. The valet smiles, noting that even holding hands carries a slight risk of pregnancy. Deus falls back into the hay, disgusted by his own biology. He shudders at the vulgarity of making babies. He glares at his servant. Alex preaches that his body was forged by the heavens to be the perfect savior of hell. The boy rejects the title. He calls himself a factory-produced weapon. He resents the expectations placed on his shoulders before he even hatched. He screams his frustration into the open sky. Alex watches him vent without a shred of sympathy. Suddenly, the ground shakes. A cloud of dust kicks up on the horizon. A woman in a golden dress sprints for her life, chased by a horde of heavily armed bandits riding armored horses. She spots the cart. Tears stream down her face as she begs for salvation. Alex points out the classic damsel in distress scenario. Deus looks at her with utter suspicion. He finds the timing way too convenient. They are in an open plain. There are no forests or cover anywhere. She literally appeared out of thin air. The valet watches the stampede close the distance. A bloodthirsty aura radiates from the riders. These are not standard thieves. Deus asks his servant if he orchestrated this cheap trap just to force a romantic encounter. Alex looks offended. He claims his tactical schemes are much more sophisticated than this. The golden woman leaps onto the back of the cart. She grabs the wooden rail, pleading with the men to protect her. Deus flat out refuses. The woman stares at him. She begs the brave warrior's companion to save her. Deus picks his nose, unimpressed. She drops the helpless act and silently curses him in her mind. A massive bandit swings a battle axe right over her head, aiming to split the cart in half. Deus raises a single finger. The heavy steel blade shatters upon impact with his nail. He looks at the broken weapon with sheer boredom. The bandit leader roars, demanding they hand over the woman or die. Deus complains about the scratch on his rental cart. Purple hellfire erupts from his grip. The dark flames latch onto the lead bandit, melting right through his horse horse and armor. The surrounding riders freeze in terror as their boss burns. Deus ignites a small purple flame on his fingertip. He asks who wants to writhe in pain for eternity next. The bandits abandon the chase and scatter into the wind. The woman watches them run. Deus turns to her, telling her the show is over and she needs to leave. She changes her story. She claims her sacred temple was invaded by these savages. Deus rubs his nose. He does not care about her temple. He tells Alex to keep driving. The woman panics. She needs them to follow her. She drops a bribe. She claims to be a priestess of the Golden Dragon, offering a mythical helmet as a reward. Deus hears the word loot and immediately agrees to the side quest. They follow her path, arriving at a treacherous, vertical stone staircase carved into a mountain. Alex takes the first few steps. He ends up carrying his master on his shoulders because the Demon King refuses to walk up a hill. The valet sweats through his suit, complaining that his thighs are burning. He points out that this location makes zero sense for a human temple. Up ahead, the supposed priestess scales the jagged rocks with zero effort, not even breaking a sweat. Deus tells his servant to relax. He plans to scalp her for the helmet if she is lying. As they climb, Deus asks about the Golden Dragon hierarchy. Alex explains the Golden Dragon is the supreme god of all dragonkind. In this universe, the creator sits at the top. Below are humanity, demonkind, and dragons, each bound to their designated roles. Deus notes that humanity clearly gets preferential treatment from the gods. Alex confirms it, but he reminds his liege of the ultimate prize. If the Demon King conquers Earth, they take humanity's favored spot in the cosmic order. They finally reach the peak. Alex collapses onto the stone floor, his legs giving out. Deus steps right over his gasping valet. Before them stands an ancient, overgrown temple built straight into the mountain rock. They walk through the colossal stone doors. Deus calls out for the priestess, demanding his shiny new helmet. The massive doors slam shut behind them with a heavy thud. A giant reptilian eye opens in the darkness above them. The golden woman floats in the air, bathed in divine light. Deus looks up, unfazed, still asking for his loot. She glares down at him, commanding him to bow his head. She drops her disguise. She is the mother of dragons, the golden dragon herself. Deus gasps. Alex realizes they walked straight into a divine trap. The deity laughs, basking in her own glorious presence. She demands they fall to their knees and beg for mercy. Deus processes her grand introduction. She waits for the inevitable surrender. Instead, the kid grins. He thinks her title sounds amazing and wants one just like it. He turns to Alex, brainstorming cool dark titles for his own brand. The golden dragon twitches, furious that they are ignoring her. Her patience vanishes. She demands respect. Deus shrugs. He points out he didn't even do anything to her. She roars, accusing him of murdering her child in the village yesterday. Deus remembers the beast. A magical chain drops from the sky, slamming into the ground. The deity descends, hovering right in front of the boy's face. She promises him death. A ring of golden fire erupts around them, trapping them inside her personal domain. She declares that inside the yellow jade realm, her power is absolute. Alex readies a combat stance. Fighting a god inside her own territory is a death sentence. The dragon commands them to kneel one last time. Deus smirks. He tells her to drop the human illusion and show her real face. He promises to tear her true skull off and wear it as the helmet she owes him. A massive pulse of killing intent floods the chamber. The deity glares right through him. But before she attacks, she raises a finger to pause the fight. She demands he apologize for deceiving her first. The tension drops instantly. The god just wants an apology. Deus crosses his arms. He explains he just wanted a quiet life in a cute village. And then her oversized lizard crashed into town, burning everything to the ground. He yells right back at her, asking why she expects an apology when her kids started it. The golden dragon stutters, taken aback by the logic. Alex steps in, adding fuel to the fire. He points out that power does not equal moral high ground. The valet argues that humanity and demons have the right to self-defense when a dragon breaches the treaty. Deus demands to know if she apologized to the villagers for the property damage. He calls her a negligent parent who refuses to take responsibility for her violent offspring. The deity is actively losing the argument. Deus continues the verbal beatdown, cornering the god with sheer accountability. A single drop of blood rolls down her ear. Her brain is overloading from the stress. She wipes the blood, genuinely confused why she feels like the bad guy in this scenario. Deus tells her to drop the barrier and let them leave. She stops him. She admits they have a point. She asks for a small apology just to clear the air. Deus sighs, annoyed by the whole process. He offers a completely insincere, rapid-fire apology just to get it over with. He reaches out and pats the god on the head like a dog. He grins, acting like the gracious one. She accepts the head pat, forcing a stiff smile. The hostility is gone. They pivot straight to business. She asks the Demon King to hunt dragons for her. Deus's face falls. He grabs her head. He thinks this is a setup to make him kill her kids so she can execute him legally. He threatens to snap her neck right now. Alex asks asks about the violet parasite she mentioned. The valet remembers seeing it on the dragon. She explains the truth. An extremist faction within her ranks is rejecting the peace treaty. The deity looks dead serious. This rogue group wants revenge for dragons killed by human poachers in the past. They are using a dark magic parasite to infect peaceful dragons and force them to attack villages. The goal is to rekindle the ancient war between humanity and dragons. She needs Deus to capture the infected dragons before the human guilds kill them. She refuses to let her innocent children become tools for war. Deus smirks. He summarizes the plot. Rogue dragons infect good dragons to attack humans, and he is tasked with wrangling the infected ones back to their mother. The golden dragon asks what he wants in return. Deus states the rule of business. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. The god waits for his demand. Deus asks for 5 dragon scales per capture. He lists his price to corner the materials market, but he adds his own terms, 1,000 gold worth of top-tier armor forged in dragon breath. She realizes she is being extorted. A glowing purple contract materializes in the air. The penalty for breach, she becomes his eternal slave. Deus tells her to state her name to lock it in. She curses his audacity, but screams her title to seal the deal. The contract vanishes into Deus's chest. The extortion is official. Deus demands she drop the barrier. He has a schedule to keep. He glares at the deity. She gives him one final rule: bring the dragons back alive. Deus grins. He promises excellent customer service. They walk out of the ancient temple back into the sunlight. They leave the ancient ruins behind. Deus alters his grand master plan. Forget invading neighboring kingdoms. He realizes dragons are rare, making their parts incredibly valuable. The 2 demons rush down the treacherous mountain stairs. Deus is hyped. He sees a massive business opportunity. The temple fades into the mist. He screams in frustration. He forgot to collect the actual golden helmet. Alex stops him from running back up the mountain. The cart waits at the bottom of the long descent. The boy giggles like a maniac on the ride home. They secure a massive, abandoned estate in the village. Alex shakes him, confused by this sudden pivot to retail sales instead of conquest. Deus pokes Alex in the chest, outlining the vision. He explains the genius of it. The golden dragon supplies the raw materials. They sell it to humanity. They will corner the market on high-tier weapons without lifting a finger. He reminds the valet exactly who he is dealing with. He reveals the true endgame. He wants to monopolize the global weapon supply and rule the world economy from the shadows. Alex wipes a tear from his eye. He finally sees the master's dark vision. The valet scoops up Zeke and runs out to find the perfect storefront. Deus stands in the center of the dusty, ruined manor. He declares he will become the greatest landlord in fantasy history. Zeke sleeps peacefully in his bed, unaware of his role in the scheme. Deus chills in his new luxury bed. Sunlight streams through the broken roof. He sighs, feeling a strange emptiness. His mind flashes back to the explosive death of the corrupted dragon. He remembers the golden dragon begging him to bring them in alive. Deus stares blankly at the ceiling. He wonders why he feels an itch for blood and slaughter when his financial plan is flawless. The demonic instinct urges him to annihilate the human village, to squeeze the life out of his enemies, to destroy the world entirely. He imagines an army of demons turning humanity to ash, a utopia ruled by shadows and fire. He realizes that giving in to the urge just continues the endless cycle of war. He closes his eyes. He decides to suppress the instinct and take a nap instead. Alex lands outside a large, multi-story building in the center of town. This is the spot, the future headquarters of their illegal arms empire. Deus stretches his arms. He approves of the real estate. The valet promises this location will serve their grand scheme perfectly. Deus notes the building needs heavy repairs. He suggests letting Zeke handle the carpentry. He asks Alex a critical question about the human power system. Does a warrior's rank pass down through blood? Alex explains that F-class parents can birth a prodigy. The genetic lottery is random. Deus deduces that Zeke could secretly harbor immense potential despite his defect label. Alex corrects him. The human world is rigged. Skill is not inherited, but wealth is. The noble clans hoard fortunes to buy better training, gear, and elixirs for their kids. Because Zeke is broke, the guild stamped him as an F-class without ever testing his true ceiling. Deus shakes his head. Humanity builds systems specifically designed to hold themselves back. He realizes the humans do not take their own survival seriously. He grabs his valet by the collar. He asks where their decoy is hiding. They walk into the bustling market. The scent of boiling broth fills the street. Zeke stands behind a steaming counter, wearing a headband and an apron. He spots his sponsors and greets them with a massive grin. He takes their order, 2 bowls of his signature warrior noodles. The kid moves with surprising speed, boiling the noodles and chopping vegetables with precision. He presents a glistening, perfect bowl of food. Deus stares at the strange dish. He slurps a massive mouthful. He swallows hard. His eyes light up. The taste is phenomenal. The master and servant devour the bowls in seconds. Zeke laughs, honored by the compliment. The kid explains why he works so hard. The gold Deus gave him bought proper warrior school uniforms for his little siblings. He gave up his own dream so they could have a real chance at success. The wholesome moment shatters. A loud crash crash echoes from the next table over. A wealthy noble shoves a plate of noodles onto the ground, screaming about a fly in his soup. Zeke scrambles over, apologizing frantically, though he insists there are no flies in his stall. The noble slams the hot bowl right into the kid's face. Deus watches the broth splatter. His eyes narrow. The noble, Lord Orgon, threatens to ruin the stall and have Zeke banned from working. He recognizes the boy's last name, the Holovich clan, the notorious defect bloodline. The crowd mutters. The reputation of the family is known by everyone in town. Orgon laughs right in the kid's face, mocking his father for begging for work. He insults the entire bloodline, calling them trash fit only for selling garbage. He slams his hands on the wooden counter, demanding the stall be shut down immediately. Deus steps up behind the kid. He mentions an annoying buzzing sound. The noble turns his anger toward the stranger. Deus raises a hand. The noble's wife steps back in alarm. He isolates a single fly hovering in the air and clenches his fist. He crushes the insect with a pulse of invisible dark magic. The sheer pressure drops the noble flat to the wooden floor. The noble's wife screams in terror. A portal of dark energy opens in Deus's palm. He unleashes a torrent of squashed bugs straight into the noble's screaming mouth. Deus tightens his grip on the magic. He claims people who disrespect hard work do not deserve a place on this earth. The crowd goes back to their meals, terrified into silence while the kid finishes his shift. A piece of paper flutters down from the sky, landing right in the middle of Deus's fresh bowl. He reads the message. A dragon has attacked Leah Castle. The golden dragon demands immediate action. Deus slams his hand on the table. He tells Zeke to close up the stall. He declares they have a VIP customer waiting. The horse cart races up the snowy mountain path toward the castle. The wooden wheels clatter against the rocks. Alex sits comfortably in the back. He asks if Zeke is nervous about facing another dragon. Zeke sweats under the metal pot. He admits he is terrified. He grips his wooden stick tight. Deus stretches out in the hay and yawns. Zeke tells them that hanging around the fearless Demon King gives him a strange surge of confidence. Alex smiles. He reminds the kid that he is the designated leader of this party. He tells Zeke to act the part when adventure calls. Zeke nods, gaining a fraction of courage. They round the final bend. The wind picks up, carrying a bitter chill. The cart screeches to a halt. Leah Castle stands before them, completely encased in thick, jagged ice. The colossal ice dragon perches atop the frozen tower. Alex points to a ridge nearby. The castle's defenders and citizens manage to evacuate just in time. Deus checks the crowd. The audience is in position for the show. Up on the ridge, the refugees are freezing to death in the artificial blizzard. The knights huddle together, praying for salvation. The cold is unnatural, cutting straight through their thick armor. They look toward the frozen castle, losing all hope. In the center of the camp, the local king sits on a portable throne, wrapped in luxury fabrics. He sweats profusely while his bishop casts a targeted warming spell. He complains about the heat while his people freeze around him. The cart bursts right through the center of the refugee camp. Zeke stands tall at the front, his pot helmet gleaming in the moonlight. The king stares in disbelief. He screams in outrage. A scrawny kid in underwear with a broomstick is not a warrior. The monarch sneezes as the warming spell falters. He orders his knights to arrest the trio. A child in the crowd points past the king. He stares at the sky. The colossal ice dragon looms over the fortress. The refugees stare in horror. Zeke readies his stick, preparing to face the apocalypse again. A noblewoman shivers, complaining about the cold and the embarrassment of the situation. The camera pans up the jagged ice spikes surrounding the castle. Countless knights are trapped inside the ice, frozen mid-stride. The dragon snarls, spotting the newcomers. Zeke yells for his team to get ready. Deus lies back in the hay. He orders the same plan as last time. Zeke tells Alex to grab the dragon and drop it right at his feet for the final strike. Alex smiles. He agrees to handle the heavy lifting. The valet summons a dark magic rift in the air. He steps out of the portal, floating right in front of the beast. He locks eyes with the predator. Deus yells out one crucial reminder: bring it in alive. Alex smirks. He promises to only half kill it. Zeke shivers, holding his broom. He asks what his job is. Alex tells him to hold his position and not move an inch. The valet vanishes. Zeke panics. Zeke orders the horses to stop. Deus settles into the hay, announcing he is going to take a nap. He trusts his valet to handle the rest. The ice dragon roars. Zeke runs screaming across the ice in his underwear. A massive, multi-eyed demonic entity materializes in the sky. Alex drops down from the clouds. The dragon looks up just as the dark magic descends. Countless purple spikes erupt from the spell, stabbing into the dragon's icy armor. Alex weaves around the beast, binding it with thick shadow tendrils. The binds detonate, sending shockwaves across the frozen landscape. The dragon crashes down, shattering the ice pillars. Zeke shivers, gripping his stick tight as the ground shakes. He blushes, amazed by the sheer power of the demon. Zeke readies a small wooden shield he found on the cart. Deus watches him prepare. The Demon King casually flicks a pulse of purple magic onto the wood. The shield crackles with intense dark energy. Deus explains it is a protective spell capable of blocking one direct dragon breath. Zeke tears up, overwhelmed by his sponsor's generosity. Deus immediately falls asleep, snoring in the hay. Zeke Zeke salutes him and runs toward the battlefield. He bounds over the ice, his shield pulsing with power. He scans the area, looking for the highest, most visible spot to strike a hero pose. He spots a massive, jagged ice pillar. He sprints for it, his shoes slipping on the frozen ground. He slides down a snowy slope, screaming the whole way. The dragon crashes into the ruins right next to him. The beast snarls, completely restrained by Alex's purple magic. The valet lands squarely on the creature's head. He stomps the beast into the dirt without mercy. He glares down with cold, calculating eyes. The purple spell activates, digging deeper into the scales. But the ice dragon unleashes a massive blast of frost, breaking the binds. The beast flaps its frozen wings. It rises into the sky, creating a blinding blizzard. Alex readies his claws. The dragon lunges, snapping its jaws at the demon. Alex dodges the strike with millimeter precision. The impact shatters the remaining castle towers. Alex lands cleanly on the dragon's back. He plunges his hands into the frost armor, ripping the scales apart. The demonic markings on his face ignite. A series of purple explosions tear across the dragon's wings. Alex steps onto the ice, blocking the beast's path. His right arm mutates, transforming into a massive, jagged demonic limb. The dragon roars, preparing to charge. Alex declares that playtime is over. He delivers a devastating hook that drops the beast from the sky. Zeke stands on his ice pillar, watching the sheer violence unfold. He is awestruck. He assumes Alex must be a top-tier D-class hunter. The sound of cheering echoes across the frozen wasteland. The refugees scream in joy, believing they are saved. The entire camp rallies behind the fight. The Fat King bites his nails, furious that a commoner is stealing his spotlight. Zeke hears the crowd chanting. He realizes they are cheering for him. They think he is the one fighting. He looks down at his foot, feeling the solid ice beneath him. The fake hero realizes he wants this. He wants to be a real warrior who gives people hope. The frozen villagers look up at him like a savior. Zeke leaps down from the pillar. He stares at a frozen knight, determined to end this fight. The dragon's massive tail sweeps across the ground. It shatters the ice, sending debris flying everywhere. Zeke braces himself against the impact. The enraged beast bursts from the rubble, its frost armor shattered. Alex clicks his tongue, annoyed by the creature's resilience. The dragon's heavy leg crashes down, crushing the stone path. It rears back, locking its glowing eyes on the tiny human in underwear. The ice dragon lunges straight for Zeke, its jaws wide open and sparking with corrupted magic. Alex inspects the purple corruption crawling up his arm. The parasite feeds on magic and refuses to stop until the host dies. His demonic markings flare with raw power. The beast terrorizing the skies is nothing more than a walking corpse. A zombie dragon. The undead creature roars, oblivious to the threat standing in front of it. Alex states the grim reality of the situation. The dragon flaps its massive frozen wings, whipping up a blinding artificial blizzard. The valet accepts the challenge. If he cannot kill it, he has to dismantle it limb by limb. A massive shadow tendril grabs the dragon's right leg. The sound of snapping bone echoes across the ruins. The beast plummets into the town square. Alex lands atop a jagged ice pillar, his eyes locked on the prey. He calls upon a forbidden technique. Countless purple shadow vines erupt from his back. The dragon shrieks as the tendrils swarm its frozen armor. Alex commands the shadows to merge. The vines twist together, forming a colossal demonic fist. It hovers high above the ruined castle. The dragon struggles, but the sheer weight of the magic pins it down. Alex drops the hammer. The giant fist slams the creature square in the jaw. The beast is dragged straight into the sky. It writhes under the immense pressure of the grip. Alex extends his own arm, mirroring the shadow's movements. The giant hand forces the dragon's head straight into the dirt. Down on the ground, Zeke loses his footing as the earth quakes. The defect tumbles backward. He groans, his metal pot clanking against the stone. The dragon regains its footing, fighting back against the binds. Alex glares down. He is done playing around. He tightens his grip on the shadow magic. The 100 hands compress. The shadow fist splits into 3 separate appendages. The tendrils grab the jagged ice spikes surrounding the beast. The massive creature is pinned against the mountainside. The dragon shrieks in defiance. Alex unleashes a devastating reverse slam. He wins his arm back for the final strike. A barrage of raging fists rains down on the creature. The refugees watch in sheer terror as the shockwaves hit their camp. Zeke cowers behind his wooden shield. He peeks out and spots something horrifying in the frozen ruins. He breaks into a sprint, abandoning his cover. He pushes past the falling ice. The temperature drops drastically near the impact zone. Zeke grits his teeth, his breath turning to mist. A man's face is frozen in a block of solid ice. He died trying to shield his family. Beneath the frozen father, a baby cries. The mother holds her child tight. Both are still breathing. Zeke raises his broom handle like a broadsword. He strikes the ice block with everything he has. He knows Alex will finish the dragon soon, but this family needs saving right now. Up above, the beast's core glows with unstable energy. A villager points at the blinding light in the sky. The knights panic. They recognize that glow. That is the exact spell that leveled their castle. The corrupt corrupted core reaches maximum capacity. Zeke keeps hacking away at the frozen prison. A colossal beam of frost magic erupts from the dragon. Zeke turns around just in time to see the apocalypse arriving. The beam hits the ground, vaporizing the terrain. The villagers scream as the blast radius expands. The Fat King complains about the sudden drop in temperature. The ice dragon roars in triumph, but a familiar voice sighs in annoyance. Deus steps out of the smoke. His demonic marks flare a bright, angry crimson. The kid's protective spell kicks in, shielding Zeke from the blast. Zeke opens his eyes, bewildered that he still has all his limbs. He hears the infant crying. He pops out of the snow, realizing his sponsor's magic kept them alive. The mother and baby survived. Zeke smiles under his pot helmet. He did it. He stumbles forward, exhausted. He looks up at the sky in confusion. Deus stands before the frozen spikes, holding his ground. The refugees urge the mysterious boy to run away. Zeke ignores them. He readies his broken stick. He declares that even an F-class defect can be a hero. Deus points a finger at the ice dragon. He calls the beast an ignorant lizard, a tool used by humanity for cheap weapons. A blinding explosion of dark magic erupts from his palm. The sheer force of the blast knocks Zeke off his feet. The defect goes tumbling through the sky. He crashes face first into a snowdrift. He pops his head out, dizzy and confused. Deus stands victorious, brushing dust off his jacket. He mocks the entire human race. He cannot comprehend how humanity spent thousands of years losing to monsters this week. Zeke crawls out of the snow, apologizing for his terrible performance. He collapses into a heap. The adrenaline finally runs out. The scene fades to white. Birds chirp near a cracked window. Zeke sleeps peacefully. He jolts upright, screaming about the dragon. He realizes he is lying in a luxurious bed inside a massive sunlit room. He scratches his head, trying to piece his memories together. He checks his arms. They are covered in thick stitches and demonic purple scars. He throws off the blanket. His legs look just as bad. He panics, thinking he lost half his body in the explosion. Outside the window, he hears familiar voices discussing business. Zeke bursts through the rubble. Deus and Alex stand in the courtyard, surrounded by a mountain of legendary weapons. The defect stumbles forward, asking what happened to his body. Deus flashes a wicked grin. He tells his decoy to relax. The dragon is dead, the baby is safe, and they have work to do. A massive wooden cart rolls into town, loaded with harvested dragon scales. The villagers run screaming from the massive beast parts. Deus sits atop the loot, looking like a mob boss. Zeke stands at the front, playing his role as the fearless leader. Alex summons a dark portal above the city. A colossal dragon carcass drops from the sky. It crashes into the plaza, shaking the foundations of the buildings. Deus accepts the delivery. He watches the townspeople tremble before his latest prize. Golden swords, axes, and shields cascade from the sky. Deus snoozes right through the weapon drop. Zeke catches the heavy loot with a massive grin. The business model is working flawless. They corner the market on dragon materials, sending shockwaves through the local economy. A corrupted forest dragon roars, towering over the trees. Zeke readies his broom handle. He leaps straight at the monster with zero hesitation. The beast fires a massive blast of green magic. The weapons keep pouring in. The pile of royal armaments grows by the day. Alex intercepts a shadow demon using dark magic bindings. The gold flows directly into Deus's pockets. The cart flies through the sky, hauled by a massive winged beast. High-tier weapons pile up. Shields, maces, broadswords. Back at the village, Zeke works his noodle stand, serving massive crowds. Deus slurps down a bowl of hot broth. A royal messenger drops a note on the table. Another dragon sighted at Schnorrier Castle. Deus points his chopsticks. The hunt continues. The trio sets off again. The cycle of slaughter and profit is endless. Deus naps in the cart while Zeke stands guard. The Demon King opens one red eye. He spots the next target. A massive blue sea dragon breaches the surface of the ocean. The beast towers over the coastline. It roars, bearing rows of jagged teeth. The defect faces down another apocalypse. Zeke dives from the sky, broom handle raised high. He lands a symbolic strike right as Alex detonates the beast with shadow magic. The weapons fall like rain. Zeke catches a golden shield, beaming with pride. He marches back into town, covered in dragon blood and bandages. He looks ridiculous, a pot-wearing lunatic in his underwear, but the villagers cheer. They call him a dragon slayer, a savior sent from heaven. Zeke walks tall. He finally feels like a real hero. Deus and Alex watch their decoy soak up the glory. The plan is a massive success. Back at the shop, two pairs of fancy leather shoes step onto the wooden floor. Deus and Alex arrive to inspect a special delivery. The grand sign hangs outside, the Demon King's weapon shop. The interior is a massive, glittering armory. Swords line the red carpets. Zeke is amazed. He tells his sponsors the shop outclasses genuine royal armories. Alex informs the kid that he and Deus will be running the front counter. Deus sweats bullets at the thought of actual retail labor. The valet drops a menacing shadow behind his master, reminding him that rent requires work. Deus agrees immediately, terrified of his own servant. The kid coughs, asking if he can still run his noodle stand to pay his siblings' tuition. Deus smiles. He has no problem with a hard worker. He grants the the request. He snaps his fingers. He orders Alex to bring out the special item. The trio gathers around a velvet table. A massive, ornate shield pulses with dark purple magic. A giant, unblinking eye sits in the center. The eye twitches, searching the room. Deus chants the activation spell. Doom's Ragun. The artifact ignites with hellfire. Deus explains it was forged in Hermes, the greatest forge in the underworld. It is capable of withstanding direct blows from the Demon King himself. Deus shoves the demonic shield into Zeke's hands. The defect grabs it. The dark magic courses through his veins. Zeke floats in a dark void. He screams for his sponsor, disoriented by the sudden shift. A deep, resonant voice answers from the darkness. The giant eye of Doom's Ragun opens behind him. The sentient shield declares its loyalty to its new master. Zeke snaps back to reality, sweating profusely. The shield pulses with raw electricity in his grip. He frantically asks where the voice went. He drops the shield. The heavy metal crashes into the floorboards. Deus laughs. He asks what kind of idiot destroys his own shop on opening day. Zeke waves his hands, amazed by the sheer power of the artifact. Alex is genuinely surprised it blocked a high-tier spell that easily. Deus grins. He tells the defect to keep it. Zeke tears up. He grips the legendary weapon tight. Deus smirks, telling the boy he needs better gear to survive the decoy lifestyle. Alex asks if he is sure about giving an F-class an underworld relic. Zeke bawls his eyes out, overwhelmed by the gesture. The boy hugs the massive demonic shield. He promises to treasure it forever. Deus calls him a silly child. He tells the boy not to cry over a simple business investment. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away at Akoma Castle, the kingdom of Verde, the fat king sits on a throne of hoarded rings, stuffing his face with roasted meat. He grips Princess April, forcing her to watch the gluttony. The monarch laughs at his own greed, surrounded by laughing soldiers. A knight bows before the king. A cloaked figure slips past the heavy wooden doors in the background. The mysterious stranger walks right past the drunken guards. He moves in complete silence. No one notices the intruder. A soldier checks the balcony, finding nothing but cold wind. The cloaked figure steps onto the red carpet. The fat knights continue eating, unaware of the threat behind them. The stranger walks straight down the center aisle. He stops right in front of the throne. The king stares down in sheer confusion. The stranger pulls back his hood, revealing dark green hair and glowing eyes. It is Alex, in disguise. He leaps into the air with terrifying speed. He lands directly in front of the king. He places a single, jewel-covered hand on the stone wall. He calculates the exact magical pressure needed for a localized explosion. He smiles at the terrified monarch. The castle detonates. The mountain peak crumbles under the force of the blast. Alex stands in the wreckage, his eyes burning with demonic fury. The king scrambles backward in the dirt, begging for his life. He screams for his guards to kill the intruder. Alex raises a hand. A knight charges forward with a massive broadsword. The demon snaps his fingers. A shockwave of pure dark energy rips through the remaining soldiers. The guards are obliterated instantly. Alex steps over the corpses and approaches the trembling king. He drops the polite act. He demands answers. The king stares at the glowing rings on the demon's hand. The holy capital has taken notice of Deus's power. Alex grabs the monarch by the collar. He demands to know exactly what the king told the holy church. He finds it impossible that humans could track down the demon king. The king sweats through his robes, swearing he knows nothing. He admits the merchants started spreading rumors about a white-haired boy. That single rumor caused the capital to launch an investigation. The castle explosion was just the beginning. The king insists the royal family was wiped out, leaving no witnesses. Alex's eyes narrow. The lie is obvious. He thanks the king for the useless information. He drops the disguise. His white hair flows in the wind as he prepares to execute the monarch. The king realizes this is the same demon who attacked his previous castle. He screams that the white-haired boy is the true messiah. Alex listens to the desperate plea. The king offers his loyalty to the demon if he spares his life. Alex raises his hand. Purple magic ignites around his fingertips. He declares the king a heretic for speaking of the demon king with such disrespect. The magical aura forms a deadly blade. Alex brings his heel down with bone-crushing force. Back in Zorix, Deus and Alex secure another massive corrupted dragon. They step through the grassy plains, leaving the carcass behind. Alex reports his findings. The dragons are becoming more aggressive. Deus assumes the golden dragon is ignoring the problem because she is stuck in human form. Alex explains the real reason. It involves the dimensional library, a glowing golden vault containing the absolute, unchangeable records of the universe. The god refuses to transform because doing so would log her presence on Earth into the permanent record. Deus finds the politics of the gods exhausting. The defect sleeps peacefully in the grass nearby. Alex notes the kid is exhausted from fighting opponents far above his rank. Zeke smiles in his sleep, completely unaware of the massive cosmic war brewing around him. Alex admits the boy has a talent for survival. Zeke stirs, hugging the demonic shield like a teddy bear. Deus laughs. He realizes the kid is treating the weapon like a family heirloom. He tells Alex to load the defect into the cart. The horse-drawn carriage rolls through the starlit plains. Deus asks if the fake scars applied to Zeke's arms are holding up. Alex confirms the illusion magic is flawless. The humans think the boy was healed by miracle doctors. To the outside world, Zeke looks like a battered veteran pieced back together by magic. Alex admits that if the kid possessed pure holy blood, he would be an unstoppable warrior. Deus glares at his valet. He warns him to watch his words. If Zeke was a pureblood, destiny would force the two of them to kill each other in 20 years. Alex snaps back. He reminds Deus that he is the actual demon king. Pretending to be a simple merchant does not change the cosmic rules. Deus dismisses the threat. He argues Zeke is not the 0th generation hero. Alex explains the prophecy. The final warrior must be born in the 5th generation. A lineage forged over exactly 100 years. The exact year the armies of hell are destined to invade. The current generation of legendary heroes are the 0th generation. The founders. Zeke is a 4th generation defect. He physically cannot be the chosen one. Deus laughs at the rigid rules of human destiny. He realizes the entire war is a rigged, scheduled event. The heavens built a game with a predetermined outcome. Deus stares at the sky. He hates playing by someone else's rules. Alex asks the ultimate question. If the war is rigged, why did Deus run away? Deus points a finger, refusing to give a straight answer. He plays dumb, acting like he just wanted a vacation. But a sudden noise interrupts the conversation. A massive streak of fire plummets from the clouds. An ornate royal airship crashes toward the earth, completely engulfed in flames. A colossal red dragon circles the falling ship, breathing fire on the wooden hull. Deus and Alex watch the chaos unfold. Deus spots a glowing golden crest on the ship's torn sails. He recognizes the emblem, the Holy Stawarsha clan, a lineage of absolute purebloods, the top-tier warriors of humanity. Alex points out the irony. They were just talking about the founders, and one drops right out of the sky. The ship crashes into the mountain peak. The wooden frame splinters. The sails burn away in seconds. Heavily armored knights struggle to move a massive object wrapped in white cloth. The royal guards brace themselves against the wreckage. A knight screams for help as the dragon circles back around. A fat commander yells at the soldiers to protect the package at all costs. He swings his sword, demanding they lift the heavy cargo. The massive white bundle slides across the rocks. The fat commander glares at the sky. The red dragon dives straight toward the crashed ship. It roars, unleashing a torrent of flames. The beast bares its fangs, ready to incinerate the survivors. The fat commander orders the archers and wizards to fire. The soldiers release a barrage of arrows and magic spells. The dragon absorbs the impact and keeps diving. An arrow snaps against its hardened scales. A blast of wind magic fails to slow its descent. A wizard channels raw lightning into his hands. He fires a massive bolt directly into the beast's chest. The dragon shrieks, pushing through the pain. A colossal pillar of light erupts from the ship. The fat commander hits the dirt, covering his eyes. The beast swoops down, tearing through the smoke. The commander asks if the package is safe. A soldier confirms the cargo is undamaged. The fat man grits his teeth, furious at the relentless attack. The red dragon circles back for another pass. The commander orders the wizards to ready their strongest spells. The holy clerics begin chanting, their robes glowing with divine energy. The beast opens its jaws, charging a final breath attack. The fat man raises his sword, preparing to die for the package. A heavy boot steps onto the rocky ledge. A blonde warrior leaps right over the commander's head. The fat man looks up in awe. The warrior draws a glowing golden longsword. He swings the blade with devastating speed. The dragon crashes into the dirt, its head cleanly severed. The blonde man lands gracefully, his cape fluttering in the wind. He scoffs. He complains that killing a baby dragon is an insult to his skills. The fat commander practically worships him, calling him Master Various. Various commands the men to wrap the package and call for reinforcements. He turns his back on the corpse, disgusted by the easy fight. But before he can leave, he freezes. Up on a higher cliff, two figures watch the scene unfold. Deus and Alex. The fat commander spots them and screams for the intruders to identify themselves. Alex leaps off the cliff, landing directly on the white package. He rips the cloth open. Inside is another dragon, a mother heavily bound in chains. Alex realizes the truth instantly. The chained dragon's eyes are clear. It is not infected. He turns to Deus. The baby dragon was not attacking the humans. It was trying to rescue its captured mother. Deus's eyes narrow. The humans just slaughtered an innocent baby dragon trying to free its parent. Various glares at the intruders. He assumes they are scavengers trying to steal his kill. Deus whispers to Alex. He tells his valet to test the pureblood's strength. Various draws his sword, ordering his men to finish this quickly. The fat commander points his blade. He demands the soldiers execute them both to protect the clan's secret. The heavily armored knights charge up the rocky slope. Deus smirks, annoyed by the sheer arrogance of the pureblood. He turns around and prepares to leave. Alex questions why his master is walking away from a fight. Deus reminds him that a simple merchant companion doesn't fight legendary warriors. He notes the pureblood's clan name, Stawarsha, sounds suspiciously like a tree. Alex explains the ancient human tradition of naming their strongest families after local flora. The holy clerics unleash a barrage of binding spells. The knights level their spears, closing closing the distance. Alex dodges a volley of light magic without breaking a sweat. He sighs. The humans brought this on themselves. The knights surround him, weapons drawn. Deus stands near the cliff edge, completely unbothered. Alex asks if his master is entirely sure about slaughtering a royal army. Deus reminds him that dead men tell no tales. The humans saw the dragon. They have to go. The fat commander demands they stop whispering and die. He orders the final charge. Alex shakes his head. He unleashes a pulse of dark magic. His eyes flare crimson. A massive shockwave erupts from his body. The sheer force blasts the charging knights backward into the burning wreckage. The cart waits in the peaceful valley below. Zeke snores loudly, unaware of the massacre happening on the mountain above. A cleric throws a fireball directly at Alex. The demon catches the flames in his bare hand. He crushes the magic. The fire instantly turns purple. The corrupted flames consume the holy wizards. A knight swings a heavy mace. Alex's eyes lock onto the target. He evades the strike and counters with a brutal palm thrust. The remaining knights hesitate, terrified by the sheer difference in power. Alex moves like a shadow. He shatters armor, breaks swords, and leaves a trail of bodies. He weaves through the strikes, untouchable. The metal plates crumple under his bare fists. The fat commander watches his elite guards get dismantled in seconds. A sniper fires an armor-piercing shot from above. Alex catches the glowing arrow between his fingers. He throws it back, striking the sniper straight through the chest. He summons raw, crackling lightning into his hands. He opens a dark portal. The electricity shoots through the rift, striking the soldiers from behind. The explosion levels the remaining forces. Alex licks the blood off his fingers. He yawns. The warm-up is over. He turns his deadly gaze toward the fat commander. The noble trembles, dropping his sword. Alex drives his boot straight into the fat man's face. Varius finally makes his move. The golden warrior lunges forward. Alex looks back over his shoulder. The pure blood unleashes a massive horizontal slash. The attack cleaves the rocky terrain in half. Varius lands, kicking up dirt as he steadies his stance. He stares down the demon through the dust cloud. Alex complains about the mess. He stands atop the severed peak with Deus. Varius demands to know what kind of monster can dodge a pure blood strike that easily. Alex smiles. He tells the boy he is vastly overestimating human capability. Varius realizes the truth. He assumes they are dragons in human form. He decides it doesn't matter. He raises his glowing sword, ready to eliminate the witnesses. Alex grins. The valet finds the threat hilarious. His demonic aura flares. He promises the kid a painful death. Varius locks eyes with the demon. He channels his aura. A blinding light surrounds his body. The pure blood magic awakens within his veins. He grips his sword with both hands, muscles bulging under the strain. The golden light intensifies, illuminating the night sky. Alex watches the transformation, unimpressed. Varius drives his blade into the ground, creating a massive crater. The fat commander screams for his master. The pure blood charges. His speed is completely different now. He moves like a golden blur. Alex grins, welcoming the challenge. Varius strikes hard enough to shatter the stone beneath his feet. He clashes blades with the demon's bare hands. The pure blood grinds his teeth, pushing with all his strength. Alex notes the boy's energy has shifted entirely. Varius swings wildly, desperate to land a hit. The golden magic tears through the battlefield. He lands on a grassy outcrop, preparing his next move. Alex stands tall. He tells the kid he is still moving far too slowly. The demon glances back at his master. Deus raises an eyebrow, silently asking if they should just leave. Alex refuses. He is enjoying the fight too much. Deus complains. He hates watching meaningless brawls. Alex promises to end it. His hand glows with deadly precision. Varius senses the incoming attack. The pure blood leaps into the air, bringing his sword down with maximum force. The two clash mid-air. Alex warns the boy that blind aggression will get him killed. The golden sword erupts with holy fire. Varius slams the blade down, aiming to crush the demon into the earth. Alex blocks it with one hand. The pure blood strikes again, spinning into a massive overhead swing. They lock eyes. The human prodigy against the high-tier nightmare demon. Varius puts everything into a single, devastating thrust. The resulting explosion sends shockwaves across the valley. Varius strains against the block. Alex's smile widens. The human's absolute best is completely useless. He tells the boy his holy fire is pathetic. The demon unleashes a blast of purple magic right in the pureblood's face. Varius goes flying into the rocks. He crashes into the dirt. Alex follows up instantly, driving his foot toward the boy's chest. The pure blood barely dodges as the rock explodes beneath him. Alex yawns, calling the entire sequence incredibly boring. He expected a true challenge from a legendary founder. All he got was a slightly faster insect. He decides the warm-up is over. The boy is no longer worth the effort. He crushes the ground with a heavy stomp. He charges forward, his hand shaped like a blade. He prepares to execute the pure blood with his signature move, the guillotine. Varius braces for the final impact, but the deadly strike never lands. Alex drives his hand forward, aiming straight for the boy's heart. Deus intercepts the strike with one finger. The demon king stands between his valet and the human. He stares down his servant. The dark magic fizzles out instantly. Various hits the dirt, completely unconscious. Alex asks why his master stopped the kill. Deus turns his back, his black coat blowing in the wind. He demands his servant explain himself. Alex argues that leaving a pureblood alive violates the natural order. The demon insists it is their duty to eradicate the humans. Deus scoffs. He tells his valet to stop lecturing him about destiny. Alex glares, his demonic eyes burning with frustration. He warns his master that leaving witnesses will trigger a global hunt. The humans will relentlessly pursue them. Deus screams his frustration. He hates dealing with the endless complications. He asks how weaklings like this could ever pose a real threat to him anyway. Alex smirks. The valet sees an opening. He points out that if the humans hunt them, Deus will be forced to eradicate humanity, which makes him the perfect demon king after all. Deus processes the terrible logic. He realizes killing the pureblood now means triggering the war 20 years early. Alex smiles, eager to begin the apocalypse right now. Deus glares at him. He refuses to play the villain role. The demon king decides the smartest move is to leave the boy alive and walk away. Alex groans, disappointed by the sudden retreat. Deus asks what would happen if he killed the pureblood right this second. Alex admits the heavens might actually descend to punish them for breaking the cosmic schedule. Deus sighs. His dream of a lazy retirement as a weapon merchant is already getting complicated. Alex laughs. He loves watching his master struggle with destiny. He suggests they just launch the invasion today and get it over with. Deus flat out refuses. He orders his valet to stop moving. The demon king demands a portal back to town immediately. Alex steps back, opening a dark rift on the ground. Deus prepares to step through, leaving the sleeping pureblood behind. Alex smiles. He promises to clean up the mess and follow his master home. Alex gets right back to work, tossing the remaining evidence straight through a dark magic portal. The ruined mountaintop falls dead silent. The valet drops from the sky, landing heavily on the cracked stone. His demonic eye glows as he licks the pureblood's blood from his lips. He makes a lethal promise to return in 20 years and wipe the entire Holostworship clan off the map. Meanwhile, the decoy sleeps peacefully in the back of the wooden cart. Zeke hugs his legendary shield like a stuffed animal, dead to the world. Deus looks down at his new toy, assuming the kid must be exhausted. The cart rolls through the quiet, starlit grassy plains. Deus complains to the heavens about the strict 20-year schedule. He refuses to wait for some fated apocalypse. He points out the absurdity of the dragons blindly following these cosmic laws while their children die. The cart rolls to a halt as a golden foot descends from the sky. The golden dragon floats down, bathed in a brilliant, ethereal light. Deus looks up, slightly surprised by the sudden divine intervention. He doesn't bother with manners, asking if she watched the entire massacre unfold. She smirks behind her veil, admitting a little lizard told her exactly what happened. Deus points a thumb at himself. He offers his services as an official witness to the crime. The deity scoffs at the very idea. She finds it incredibly reassuring that the literal demon king is offering to testify in human court. Deus crosses his arms, calling it completely racist to assume demons are always the bad guys. He taps his chin, genuinely wondering why his kind even bothers trying to conquer the surface world. The golden dragon calls it a foolish question, doubting his title entirely. Deus picks his nose, turning the insult back on her. She just sits around watching her own children get slaughtered. He stands up in the cart, reminding her that the humans literally called her child delivery goods. He flashes a sharp grin. The purebloods just committed a blatant violation of the peace treaty. She glares down at the smug white-haired boy, deciding to test his limits. She asks for one thing, revenge. Her glowing eyes lock onto him. She wants the filthy human clans destroyed. Deus gives her a blank, unimpressed stare. He sits back down, asking why the supreme god of dragons can't do it herself. She explains the cosmic law. Once a dragon enters the human dimension, she cannot interfere with their fate. Her hands are completely tied by the rules of the world. Deus snaps. He is entirely sick of hearing about these rigid, unbreakable laws. He screams his frustration, demanding to know who enforces this system. The answer hits him like a meteor. A massive, invisible force crushes him into the dirt. Blood drips from his nose as he struggles against the sheer gravitational pressure. The deity looks down coldly. The rules of the world bind everyone, even him. Deus gets driven deeper into the earth, but the boy refuses to yield. He stomps his foot, cracking the ground. The golden dragon's eyes widen in sheer shock. Deus channels his dark aura, screaming that the enforcers should come rule the world themselves instead of hiding behind laws. The deity smiles, impressed that he can resist divine pressure in a mortal body. Deus glares right through the gravity, warning her to watch her mouth. She changes the subject entirely, asking the ultimate question. She leans in, dying to know why he is the first demon king in 66,000 years to quit. She finds his sudden desire for a peaceful, happy life completely baffling. Deus blinks, the intense pressure suddenly gone. He looks back at her, asking if she is just as sick of the rules as he is. She panics, insisting she is merely curious. He warns her that breaking the rules will have severe consequences in 20 years. She brushes the threat aside. She hovers closer, demanding to know his real reason for abandoning the throne. She begs to know why he broke broke the endless cycle of destiny. Deus puts his hands in his pockets, looking away from her intense stare. He opens his mouth to reveal the darkest secret of the underworld. A massive purple portal erupts from the grass right behind the cart. Alex steps through, looking exceptionally proud of his recent massacre. The valet spots the golden dragon and assumes his master summoned her. Deus cuts off the grand introductions, ordering his servant to keep the portal open. The deity screams in frustration, demanding the rest of his story. Deus flops onto the hay next to Zeke. He refuses to drop lore this early in the episode. The golden dragon realizes the demon king is literally going to sleep on her. She makes one final demand. If he won't give her revenge, he must expose the truth. She wants the sheer scale of the poaching operation revealed to the world. Deus holds up 3 fingers without opening his eyes. He demands triple the original contract payout to take on the harder job. The deity vibrates with raw, divine fury at the extortion, but she agrees. She promises to pay his filthy ransom. She points a glowing finger at the sleeping boy. A spark of magic strikes Deus directly in the chest. She explains it is a cloaking spell. His demonic aura will no longer trigger the purebloods. Deus loves a free upgrade. He orders Alex to drive them through the portal. The cart vanishes, leaving the golden dragon alone in the starlit field. She stares up at the moon, deeply concerned that she just made a deal with the devil. A quiet voice asks if someone is listening. The trio stands inside a massive, gleaming corridor. They have arrived at the Holostwortia clan's fortress. A colossal blimp floats above the castle towers. This place radiates old money. Zeke is amazed, but Deus questions why the pureblood they just met was so pathetic. Alex explains the economics of war. Famous clans get endless sponsorships from royalty. Deus realizes his own net worth is microscopic in comparison. Alex details the political reality. Dragons must help humans because demons are the ultimate threat. Deus nods. Dragon weapons are top tier in the demon world too. The sprawling capital gleams in the sunlight. All the major clans are likely involved in the poaching ring. Zeke laughs nervously, asking if Alex's family poaches dragons too. The valet clarifies you need to be a G-class warrior to even attempt it. Deus points out that if a weakling like Various could do it, anyone can. Zeke's soul leaves his body. Alex grabs the panicking defect. They are here for a side hustle. Deus flashes a sinister grin. It is time for an undercover investigation. He charges toward the gates, dragging his reluctant crew behind him. Alex stops them. They cannot just waltz in looking like peasants. Deus halts, realizing his casual jacket won't cut it. A quick shadow spell later, and the trio is dressed in tailored merchant suits. A heavily armored guard stares at the strange group. Alex plays the role of a humble butler, urging his master to follow proper formalities. Zeke sweats bullets while Deus plays along with the charade. Deus grins, accepting the role of the wealthy sponsor. They stand before the towering entrance doors. Alex unleashes a deafening roar, presenting Zeke as the ultimate candidate for the final warrior. He turns back to his master with a smug smile. Breaking the doors down would have been too loud. The interior of the suite is a blinding display of pure gold and velvet. Zeke peeks around the room. He spots a massive, framed portrait on the wall and recognizes the figure. It is Hassan van Holostwortia VII, the legendary warrior who fought the Demon King for 13 days. Zeke laughs nervously, feeling entirely out of place in this palace. Deus kicks his feet up on the luxury table, completely unbothered. He tells his decoy to relax. All warriors are supposed to be equal. A deep voice interrupts them, agreeing with the sentiment but adding a crucial caveat. The man steps into the light, his massive frame adorned with gold and fur. Solus van Holostwortia introduces himself as the head of the clan. Zeke panics, realizing this is the father of the pureblood they just left for dead. The textbook lore flashes in his mind. The final warrior must come from the 5th generation. Zeke and Various are both 4th generation bloods. The defect practically dives to the floor, bowing before the legend. He scrambles to introduce his wealthy companions. Zeke looks up, confused that the clan leader already knows who they are. Solus admits he verified their identities with the Holy See after the recent rumors. Zeke sweats, trying to play off his continued career as a warrior. Solus stares down at the F-class trash with barely concealed disgust. Deus leans back, mocking the common trope of a wealthy merchant buying honor through a fallen clan. Solus asks what business brings them to his halls. Deus causally mentions they are chasing a rumor. The purebloods glowing blue eye narrows at the familiar tone. Deus mocks his retirement, asking if he prefers the hoity-toity royal titles. Solus forces a deep laugh, comparing the boy's recklessness to his own youth. He delivers a veiled threat about knowing one's place in the world. Zeke frantically agrees, terrified of the D-class warrior. Solus takes his seat and asks about the specific rumor. Deus drops the act. He heard they deal in quality goods. Solus chuckles. The Holostwortia clan only provides the highest tier of materials. He lists legendary items: obsidian teeth, void crystals, giant hearts. Deus calls them all trifles. The white-haired boy smirks. He wants something far above a giant's heart. Solus breaks a sweat. The only thing above a giant is a dragon. Deus drops a heavy leather bag onto the table. He needs flashy gear for his new warrior. The bag opens, revealing a cluster of glowing blood lava lava stones. Solus is stunned by the rare demonic material. Deus locks eyes with the clan leader. Solus denies everything. Trading in dragon parts is a violation of the peace treaty. Deus stands up. He tells Alex they need to find the specific clan moving the goods. He casually mentions seeing the Holostortia insignia on a recent shipment. Solus's composure shatters. He glares at the merchant. Deus explains that newbies often see things they were never meant to see. Solus's cross tattoos seem to darken. He calls the revelation unfortunate. Deus turns the threat around. He hints that exposing the old guard's secrets could topple their entire empire. Raw, crackling magic sparks between Alex and the pureblood. Solus smiles, finding the merchant's audacity amusing. He brings up a new rumor, an unknown masked warrior capturing dragons single-handedly. Deus plays dumb, asking why he should care. The pureblood's smile widens. He stares directly at the massive, pulsating shield strapped to Zeke's back. Deus asks if he recognizes the underworld artifact. Solus confirms it is forged from blue and darkstone dragon scales, an unregistered S-class item. Alex is genuinely impressed by the human's appraisal skills. Solus addresses Deus directly, recognizing him as the true leader of the party. He delivers a message for the masked warrior. The constant meddling is hurting business. Deus listens in silence. The high-ranking clans are preparing to eliminate the nuisance and anyone associated with him. Solus steps closer, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper. He claims an F-class defect has no right to possess such a treasure. He stands tall, wrapped in his luxurious fur cape. He reiterates that his prestigious clan does not deal in illegal goods. His glowing eyes flash with killing intent as he dismisses them. Solus storms out of the suite, his heavy boots echoing on the marble. The moment the door closes, Deus bursts into hysterical laughter. Walking out of the castle, Deus admits the legendary pureblood was incredibly disappointing. He pieces the conspiracy together. The blood clans are poaching dragons to corner the weapons market. He stares up at the towering spires. They eliminate any competition that gets too close to the truth. Alex agrees. High-quality arms dictate the balance of power in the human world. By controlling the dragon parts, the clans de facto control all the warriors. Zeke is crushed. His childhood heroes are nothing but corrupt arms dealers. Deus flashes his fangs. Humans are so rotten it makes demons look innocent. Alex smiles warmly at his master's realization. Deus finally understands how humanity has survived the holy wars for so long. The valet sweats, recognizing the danger of this conversation. Deus wraps an arm around his decoy, congratulating him on becoming a global target. Zeke's face goes pale. The purebloods are actively hunting the masked warrior. The defect screams in sheer terror, his eyes bulging out of his skull. Deus suggests they close the shop and retire the masked warrior persona for a while. He raises a finger. The retirement starts tomorrow. A dark, menacing chuckle fills the air. Deus prepares to destroy the Holostortia cartel tonight and collect his triple payout. The full moon hangs high over the capital. Deus stares up at the night sky. The Holostortia castle features a massive, shimmering lake right in the center of the grounds. Deus stands near the water's edge, deep in thought. Zeke approaches in his full decoy armor, complete with the metal pot helmet. He asks for clarification on the current plan to steal a dragon for evidence. Deus points his finger like a gun, confirming the heist. Zeke raises his hand with a pressing logistical question. He points out that standing under a bright streetlight is a terrible way to sneak into a fortress. The heavy clanking of armored boots approaches from the left. Two royal guards march directly toward them, spears in hand. Zeke panics, screaming that they are completely exposed. The guards step right into their personal space. The defect braces for the inevitable arrest. The soldiers walk straight past the intruders without even blinking. Zeke realizes the truth. His master cast a high-level invisibility spell. Deus confirms the trick with his back turned. Zeke beams under the metal pot, thrilled to have magic on his side. Deus walks ahead, leaving the terrified boy to catch up. The sheer scale of the golden fortress is staggering under the moonlight. Zeke looks around the empty courtyard. He doesn't see anywhere a massive dragon could hide. He also realizes Alex is nowhere to be found. Deus stops walking and calls out to his decoy. He asks the boy if his clan has ever experienced this level of luxury. Zeke laughs it off. His grandfather always told stories of their generational poverty. The white-haired boy looks back over his shoulder. Zeke explains that his ancestors were always low-level grunts. He details the expensive, rigged system of warrior universities that keeps the poor at the bottom. Deus halts his steps on the golden tiles. He calls the boy by his title, Defect. He wants to make sure the kid understands the severity of robbing a royal clan. They are crossing a line that true warriors never cross. Zeke looks out over the rippling water. He knows this is a severe crime, but he remembers the look in Solus's eyes. He praises his sponsor for seeing through the pureblood's supposed justice. He assumes Deus was playing the sleazy merchant just to expose the corruption. Deus sweats a little, admitting that wasn't exactly his grand strategy. He asks what more the boy needs. Zeke stands tall, his cape blowing in the wind. He admits he had given up on his dreams before he met the Demon King. He holds up his bare hand, remembering his own powerlessness. But now, he is standing inside a D-class fortress, holding a legendary shield. He knows knows he would still be eating rotten fruit without his sponsor's help. Deus asks if the theft is worth it. Zeke smiles brightly beneath the metal pot. He refuses to let his younger siblings inherit the title of defect. Deus watches him. The humans will grow up to be great warriors. Zeke dreams of commissioning a massive painting of his family on the battlefield. He pulls out his broken broomstick, imagining a glorious future. He wants history to remember the Holovich clan as heroes who defeated the Demon King. The boy dreams of a fairy tale ending. Deus asks a heavier question. What about his own life? The demon challenges the boy's willingness to sacrifice everything for his siblings. He clenches his fist, wondering if the boy will be satisfied with nothing for himself. Zeke's eyes shine with absolute certainty. Ending the poverty is enough. He is willing to make a deal with the devil to see it done. A wicked smirk spreads across the demon's face. He loves a willing accomplice. He decides to burn it all down. Deus taps his boot on the ground and calls for his valet. Alex drops from a dark portal right onto the street lamp. He lands gracefully, holding a thick leather book. The demon tactician flashes a deadly smile. He hands the stolen ledger to his master. The book contains the full roster of the poaching cartel. Deus reads the names aloud. Every major blood clan is involved in the conspiracy. Alex notes there are 76 revered clans listed on the first page alone. Zeke breaks a cold sweat, realizing the scale of the corruption. Deus looks down at the lake. His guess was right. The dragons are hidden underwater. Deus channels his magic, preparing for a deep dive. He taps his finger, conjuring a bubble of breathable air. The spell locks around their heads perfectly. The trio leaps off the high bridge, plunging into the dark water. Deus slips beneath the surface without a splash. Zeke holds his breath, terrified of drowning. The defect hits the water feet first. He sinks rapidly into the abyss. He realizes he can breathe perfectly inside the magic bubble. The sea floor comes into view, revealing a horrifying sight. Massive dragons are pinned to the stone by heavy chains. Zeke's eyes go wide at the sheer cruelty. Alex explains the cartel's method. They harvest scales from live dragons and force healers to regrow them. The trio floats down toward the captive beasts. The operation is a literal endless factory for high-tier weapons. Alex points to the largest dragon in the center of the cavern. The creature has been chained and harvested for 230 years. Zeke trembles, disgusted by humanity's greed. Deus asks if the extremist dragons know about this underwater torture chamber. He admits he would start off by killing everyone too if his kind were treated this way. The Demon King stares down at the broken beasts. Alex suggests they take a single scale for evidence and leave. The valet swims forward, aiming for a darkstone scale. He rips a massive chunk of armor directly off the creature's back. With the evidence secured, they begin their ascent. The oldest dragon's glowing eye snaps open. 2 centuries of unimaginable pain and rage bubble to the surface. Deus tells his servant to wait. He doesn't like the look in the creature's eye. The massive beast thrashes against its restraints. The iron chains groan under the sudden pressure. Deus raises his hand, unleashing a pulse of raw, dark magic. The crimson energy snaps the heavy chains instantly. The dragon wriggles free from its underwater prison. It unleashes a deafening roar, shooting toward the surface like a torpedo. The beast's eyes burn with pure, unadulterated vengeance. Alex sweats. This is going to be a disaster. The calm surface of the lake begins to bulge. The colossal dragon erupts from the water, taking to the sky. The impact splashes a tidal wave across the stone courtyard. A swarm of free dragons follow their leader into the night sky. The royal guards scream in sheer terror as the beasts blot out the moon. The oldest dragon opens its jaws and charges a massive breath attack. The ensuing explosion obliterates the central courtyard. Another beast fires a beam of concentrated magic. The castle walls crumble under the relentless bombardment. Decades of hoarded wealth and architecture are vaporized in seconds. Fire engulfs the Holostwortia stronghold. A burst of ice breath freezes the remaining towers solid. Back on the ground, Solus drags himself out of the debris. The trio lands smoothly on the stone path, watching the fireworks. Alex demands to know why his master snapped the chains. Deus shrugs. He remembered Solus's smug face and got angry. Zeke flaps his arms in panic. This was supposed to be a stealth mission. The fortress is rapidly becoming a crater. Alex suggests wiping out the witnesses, but Deus points out that ruins the whole point of a stealth mission. Solus emerges from the flames, his cross tattoos glowing brightly. He spots the intruders standing amidst the destruction. He recognizes the white hair instantly. The pureblood's fury reaches its boiling point. He draws his massive broadsword, standing atop the rubble. He screams a challenge at the intruders who dared attack his home. His blue eye twitches with killing intent. He locks onto the metal pot helmet. The masked warrior is right here. The clan leader leaps onto the burning roof. Deus smirks, warning the human not to start a fight he can't finish. Solus charges forward with a roar. The pureblood declares he has been waiting for this exact moment. Zeke clutches his head, screaming for his life. Solus leaps high into the air. He crashes onto the roof, completely shattering the tiles. He launches himself toward the defect, sword raised high. He unleashes his signature strike. But before the blade can fall, a colossal set of jaws emerges from the smoke. The oldest dragon swallows Solus, and the entire roof section hole. The beast flies off into the burning sky. Deus waves a cheerful goodbye. Zeke throws his hands up, claiming he didn't even touch the guy. Alex suggests they use the ensuing chaos to escape the capital immediately. The trio sprints across the bridge as a dragon dive bombs the guards behind them. The official textbooks would later record the abrupt and mysterious end of the Holostwarsha clan. Sunlight streams through a large glass window. Zeke wakes up early, his bandages fresh and his resolve strong. He scrambles out of bed. He needs to open the shop before his master arrives. He throws open the front doors and is instantly met by a massive, shouting crowd of warriors. The customers are furious he opened so late. They have been waiting since dawn. Zeke flashes his best retail smile, welcoming them to the Demon King's weapon shop. The register rings non-stop. A guard buys 2 swords for 7 gold and 89 silvers. The shop is packed to the walls. Warriors fight over shields and daggers. A disguised Alex uses high-level sales tactics to push a 2-for-1 deal on magic wands. The valet flashes a handsome smile, charming the customers into opening their wallets. Deus watches the absolute chaos from the second-floor balcony. The white-haired boy rests his chin on his hand. Making money is too easy. He thought becoming rich would make him feel fantastic. But watching the humans scramble for weapons leaves him feeling completely empty. He calls down to his decoy. He orders Zeke to mind the shop while he goes back to sleep. Deus pushes the heavy wooden doors open. He enters his super luxury suite on the top floor. The room is unnecessarily extravagant, filled with velvet and gold trim. He leaps onto the massive bed, instantly sinking into the soft mattress. He decides sleep is the only true luxury in this world. A voice echoes in the dark void of his mind, calls his true name, Demiurgos. The boy opens an eye in the dreamscape. He looks up from the pillows. The golden dragon is standing right next to the bed. He sighs, recognizing the divine intruder. She notes his lazy lifestyle, slightly jealous that he has nothing on his mind. He assumes she saw the entire massacre at the Holostwarsha castle and tells her to take the ledger on the desk. She confirms she watched it all. The poaching cartel is a clear violation of the treaty. Deus asks if she is finally going to start a war with humanity. She smiles bitterly. It would be convenient, but that is not an option. Deus rolls over, demanding his triple payout for the job. He points out that the poaching has been happening for a long time, and she definitely knew about it. The golden dragon looks away, her expression tight with grief. She asks if protecting the peace treaty is why he exposed the cartel. The sun rises outside the window. She explains the extremists were furious when they discovered the torture chambers. Because their own god refused to act, they took matters into their own hands. She agrees they are using the infection to attack humans, but she insists that biological warfare is not the way of the dragon. Dragons are a proud species. They would rather die in combat. They do not manipulate the minds of their enemies or family members. The infection simply does not add up with their biology or culture. A vision of the purple, multi-eyed parasite flashes in her mind. She realizes someone gave the extremists that filthy weapon. Someone took advantage of her children's rage to force a war. Deus sits up violently. He tells her to stop making excuses for her children wreaking havoc. He gets right in her face. If her faction is out of line, she needs to set them straight herself. She tries to argue, but Deus is done listening. He grabs a pillow and covers his ears. Everyone in this world has a massive drama complex. He tells the supreme god of dragons to just chill out and make some compromises. The deity actually laughs at the absurdity of the advice. She never thought she would hear the demon king advocating for world peace. Deus blushes slightly. He throws up a middle finger and tells her to get out. He questions their entire strategy. If they really want to beat the humans, they should just wipe them out in one coordinated strike. The golden dragon's eye darkens. They cannot beat them. She admits the terrifying truth. Because of the purebloods, the dragons cannot win. Deus thinks they are all just being gaslit. Why is everyone so afraid of the bloods? She tells him he has never seen the humans on the designated day. Individually, they are weak, and it takes 20 years for them to fully awaken. But on the day of the ascension, they become something entirely different. A vision of a golden warrior appears. They bear the cross on their backs. They fall, and they get back up again. She describes the horror of watching them swarm the battlefield. You kill one, and another immediately takes its place. They are like moths flocking to the blinding light of the demon king. The moths never stop coming, and the sheer volume of their endless sacrifice eventually breeds fear in the hearts of monsters. Their courage makes the gods afraid. The ultimate manifestation of this terrifying resolve is the final warrior. The golden dragon looks at the young king. She warns him that in 20 years, he will not just be fighting humans. He will be fighting the endless courage that has kept them victorious for 66,000 years. Deus bursts into laughter. He finds the idea of Zeke becoming an unstoppable, terrifying hero completely hilarious. He asks a simple logistical question. Why not just kill all the 3rd and 4th generation bloods now before the final warrior is even born? Or just wait 30 years until the hero is an old man? The century mark timing seems completely arbitrary. She reminds him that he is the demon king. He supposedly set the rules. Deus insists he was just reincarnated into the job without a manual. The deity assumes that if it has always been this way, it must be the right way. Deus screams. He wants to know why they are even fighting in the first place. She is completely confused by his existential crisis. He tells her to look at the world around them. Demonkind survived underground just fine. There is zero logical reason to constantly invade the surface. She states the basic theology. The earth was blessed and hell was cursed. Deus argues that if God created both, he should have just put sunlight in hell and avoided 60 millennia of bloodshed. She insists God has a reason for everything. Deus demands to know what God even is. She claims God is the absolute creator of everything. Deus snaps back, asking what everything even means. He grabs his hair in frustration. She gets a little bit of sunlight and starts preaching like an old man. He falls back onto the bed. He just wants to know if he is the only one who thinks this system is stupid. She jokes that his face is the problem. Deus tells her to get out and let him sleep. He lets out a long, exhausted sigh. The golden dragon smiles. His bizarre, out-of-character rant actually cheered her up. Deus pulls the covers up. Therapy session is over. The deity looks down at the sleeping boy. She asks for one last favor. Find the one who gave her children the puppet infection. Deus scoffs. If the god of dragons doesn't know, how would he? She suggests his loyal valet might have the answer. 10,000 years ago, a legendary tactician caused a massive schism within the dragon ranks. She reveals the tactician was none other than Alex. Deus remembers Alex bragging about being the finest tactician in hell. She warns him that Alex is more than capable of orchestrating this entire war before fading away. Deus sits up. The world really is a strange place. The golden dragon smiles warmly as she disappears from the dreamscape. Portal rips open on the bedroom floor. Alex bursts in, screaming that they are in trouble. Deus yells at him for interrupting his nap. The valet holds up a small glass vial. He reveals the puppet mushroom of hell. He found the true source of the dragon infection. Deus recognizes the mushroom. It induces massive delirium. Alex confirms it only grows in the demon world, and there is only one demon capable of cultivating it. Darosh, the Duke of Disease, one of the 7 demon lords. Alex asks if he should cover up the evidence. Deus grabs him by the collar. A dragon just destroyed a royal capital. There is no covering this up. Deus realizes the demons are behind the infection. If humans and dragons fight, hell benefits the most. He narrows his eyes. He accuses Alex of orchestrating the entire thing. The valet acts deeply offended, claiming his methods are far more elegant than using mushrooms. Alex points out that if he did it, he wouldn't have brought the evidence straight to his master. Deus admits that makes sense, but he still wants to know why someone would do this. Alex sweats under the interrogation. Deus wonders what the ultimate goal of starting this specific war is. Alex states the obvious: to spark a massive conflict between humans and dragons. Deus shakes his head. If you wanted to do that, you'd use a human poison so you wouldn't get caught. Using a demon mushroom leaves a clear trail, and the golden dragon recognized Alex immediately. She knows exactly who to blame. For 66,000 years, the dragons and humans allied against hell. Something doesn't add up. The tactician's play is too sloppy. Deus cracks his knuckles. He orders Alex to summon Darosh for a little physical interrogation. Alex admits he already checked the Duke's workshop. Darosh is missing. Deus screams in sheer frustration. He just wants a quiet life and everyone keeps ruining it. He slumps onto the bed, blaming his valet for complicating everything. Alex thinks silently. Only another demon lord could abduct Darosh. His demonic eye widens. He looks at the boy sitting on the bed. Is his master behind everything? The valet pieces it together. Yesterday, they exposed the poaching cartel and gave the golden dragon the perfect excuse to break the peace treaty. With the evidence in hand, the extremists will revolt against humanity. The ancient alliance between humans and dragons will finally crumble. And for the first time in history, the 3 factions will fight a massive equal war. Alex falls to his knees. He is completely overwhelmed by the sheer brilliance of the plan. If they get caught, the blame won't fall on Deus. The dimensional library will literally record that the Demon King tried to stop the war. Alex stares in pure reverence. He asks if his master orchestrated this from the very beginning. Deus confirms it blindly, assuming they are talking about his retirement. Alex remembers Deus talking about how much he loved the earth. The valet assumes the lazy merchant act is just a cover for the greatest tactical mind in history. He bows deeply, calling his master a magnificent scoundrel. He asks what the next phase of the master plan is. He promises to keep the secret and follow his liege into the fire. Deus sweats, completely lost. He asks if his servant is feeling lightheaded. Alex vows to stake his life on covering up the master plan. Deus accepts the offer, glad his annoying servant is finally being useful. He orders Alex to go cover everything up so he can sleep, but before the demon leaves, Deus stops him. He asks one final, genuine question. Does God really exist? Alex is confused by the sudden philosophical turn. Deus stares with glowing red eyes, wondering who is really pulling the strings.